You know, in 1900, in London, the American playwright and impresario David Belasco was presenting a play, and when the curtain came down, a man came rushing backstage, an Italian, who wanted the rights to develop that play into an opera. And Belasco said later, "I told him he could have any deal he wanted because it's impossible to discuss arrangements with an impulsive Italian with tears in his eyes and both arms around your neck." The play was Madama Butterfly, and as you probably know, it became one of the most beloved of Puccini's operas. Tonight, we're going to introduce you to the plot of the opera and give you a chance to hear some of Puccini's wonderful music with members of the Domingo Cafritz Young Artist Program. We're in the late 19th century. We are in Japan, in the port city of Nagasaki. The United States Navy has a strong presence in the harbor there, and a young lieutenant named Benjamin Franklin Pinkerton has just arrived on a ship called the Abraham Lincoln. And to pass the couple of months that he's going to be stationed in Nagasaki, he has decided, as many sailors do, to take a Japanese bride. And he explains the situation in the first scene to the American consul, a guy named Sharpless, and in the presence of the marriage broker who's arranged it, a guy named Goro. For Pinkerton, it's purely a temporary arrangement. But Sharpless warns him that the bride he is going to marry, a young geisha whose name is Madame Butterfly, has come to the consulate, and he's overheard her speaking, and he is sure that Butterfly doesn't view this as a temporary arrangement. He's sure that she takes this marriage very seriously. In the opening scene, Dovunque al Mondo, from Madame Butterfly, we're going to hear Chasman Williams Ali as Lieutenant Pinkerton, Hunter Enoch as the consul Sharpless, Rexford Tester as the marriage broker Goro, and at the piano will be Paul Jarsky. And from the very first notes, you will be able to tell that Lieutenant Pinkerton is an American.
Or whiskey. Affonda l'ancora all'avventura finché una raffica scompirà e armeggi alberatura. La vita non appaga se non fa suo tesori fiori d'ogni plaga. E un facile Vangelo d'ogni bella di amor. E un facile Vangelo che fa la vita vaga, intristisce il cor. Finto si tuffa, la sorte racciuffa il suo talento, fa in ogni dove, così mi sposa l'uso giapponese per 999 anni. Salvo a proscioglie mio di me.
Si leva il cielo.
Una ghirlanda di fiori freschi, una stella dai raggi d'oro, e per nulla so 100 yen, se vostra grazia mi comanda, c'è non assortimento. Va, conduci al coro.
Smania mi prende, s'arresta addirittura cotto.
Non so, dipende dal grado di cottura. Amore al grillo dir non saprei, certo costei là con ingenue arti invescato, lieve qua tenue vetro soffiato, alla statura, al portamento, sembra figura da paravento, ma dal suo lucido fondo lillacca, come con subito moto si stacca, dal farfalletta svolazza e posa, con tal grazietta silenziosa, che di rincorrerla ma sale, se pure infrangerne dovessi l'ale.
E l'altro consolato sen venne a visitar, io non la vidi ma l'udi parlar, di sua voce il mistero l'anima mi colpì. Certo, quando è sincero l'amore parla così, sarebbe anche cato le lievi ali strappare e desolare, forse il credo lo cuore.
Console mio garbato, quetatevi si sa,
Sarebbe qualche cato
di flebile umor, non c'è grande, s'io quella trezzare dolce vite d'amor. Whisky,
un altro bicchiere. Bevo alla vostra famiglia lontana,
e al giorno in cui mi sposerò con fere nozze a una vera sposa americana.
Butterfly takes this marriage more seriously than even Sharpless suspects. She's done something unheard of. The day before the wedding, she has gone to the Christian mission in Nagasaki, and she has converted. because, as she says, she wants to kneel with her husband in the same church and pray to the same God. And this is the beginning of her troubles. Because no sooner is the wedding ceremony complete, but that her uncle, a Shinto priest who's called the Bonds, rushes in furious. He's heard about the conversion. He says to her, as you have renounced the cult of your ancestors, so we will renounce you. And all her friends and family follow suit, and they all leave her alone with Pinkerton. And alone with him, she's profoundly shaken. Now she has only one comfort and one support left in this world, and it's her new husband. We'll hear the scene that ensues. Jasmine Williams-Ali will be back as Pinkerton, and as Madama Butterfly, soprano Raquel Gonzalez.
Vestita di ciglio, mi piace la treccia tua bruna, fra canti di veli.
Piccola dea della luna, la piccola dea della luna che scende la notte dal ponte del cielo
E affascina i cuori.
e li prende.
Le parole che appaga l'ardente desiderio.
Forse io ti con te, per te d'averne a morire, per te d'averne a morire.
Stolta paura, l'amor non uccide. Nota vita e sorride per gioia celestiali, come ora fa nei tuoi lunghi occhi ovali.
Adesso voi siete per me l'occhio del firmamento e mi piace essere dal primo momento che vi ho veduto. Sì, bello forte
manca più. Io t'ho ghermita, ti serro palpitante, sei mia.
Well, Pinkerton's ship eventually has to leave Japan. In the next scene, which is the beginning of Act 2, 3 years have passed since his departure. He said he would return, and Butterfly has patiently waited, even as she has no word from him and the money starts to run out. But nobody else believes that he will come back. Even her faithful servant Suzuki has her doubts. Butterfly is unswayed. She has imagined every detail of his homecoming, as she tells Suzuki in the aria Un bel dì, one fine day. We're going to hear the scene that leads up to Un bel dì, in addition to the aria. And it starts with Suzuki praying And the melody she's singing sounds rather Japanese, and that's not an accident. It is Japanese. We should talk for a second about what Puccini did to create a Japanese opera. He did rather extraordinary things. You know, in today's interconnected world, it's very easy to Google anything you want. But Puccini, in order to find authentic Japanese melodies, had to do a great deal of research. He looked for books written by travelers, musicians who'd come back from Japan. He went to meet with the wife of the Japanese ambassador in Rome. He even, because we're at the beginning of the 20th century, could consult some of the first recordings of Japanese music. And he wove 5 or 6 authentic Japanese melodies into the show, in addition to creating some of his own in sort of the same style. Does that mean he got everything right about Japan? He and his librettists, absolutely not. If you really know Japanese culture and you look through the show, you'll find a lot of things that are not authentic, because it was difficult to do from the distance of half a world away. And for that matter, he didn't get everything right about America either. In the first draft of the show, the lieutenant has the very classic American name, Sir Francis Blummy Pinkerton. So, we're going to hear now the beginning of Act 2. Joining Raquel Gonzalez as Madama Butterfly is Daryl Friedman as Suzuki. At the piano is Michael Sherman.
Questo è l'ultimo fondo. Questo ho troppe spese. Se non torna e presto siamo mal in arnesi. Ma tornerà, perché dispone il quanto le provveda l'abbigione. Risponde su. Perché con tante cure la casa rifornì di serrature, se non volesse ritornar mai più. Non lo so, non lo sai, io te lo dico per tenir ben fuori le zanzare parenti ed i dolori. E dentro tornerete, signor di Gabate.
Now, meanwhile, Sharpless has received a letter from Benjamin Franklin Pinkerton, who says he is coming back to Japan, but he is not coming back to Butterfly. Sharpless goes to Butterfly's house to read her the letter, where he encounters Goro, the marriage broker, who has needed no letter to figure out that Pinkerton is not coming back. And Goro has been trying to arrange a new marriage for Butterfly with the wealthy Prince Yamadori. Butterfly wants nothing to do with it. We'll hear, in addition to Raquel Gonzalez as Butterfly, Hunter Enoch as Sharpless, and Rex Fortester as Goro, baritone Michael Adams as the wealthy Prince Yamadori.
Era trista una sì piena cecità,
segnalata è già la nave di Pinkerton. Quando essa lo rifera,
egli non può mostrarsi, o vedi appunto per le va l'inganno.
spero ancor.
After Yamadori leaves, Sharpless feels he has to level with Butterfly, and he tells her she's got to think of what she'll do if Pinkerton never comes back. He advises her to accept Yamadori's proposal. She's cut to the quick. And then she reveals what she's hidden from everyone. In Pinkerton's absence, she has given birth to his son. She brings the child out to show to Sharpless, and she tells Sharpless, today his name is Dolore, sorrow. But when his father returns, his name will be changed to Gioia, joy. Sharpless promises to tell Pinkerton. When Sharpless leaves, it seems that Butterfly's life has hit rock bottom. And then suddenly, there's the sound of a cannon from the port, the cannon that fires a salute when any foreign warship enters the harbor. Butterfly grabs the spyglass which she's used to scan the harbor every day for 3 years, and the name on the hull comes into focus. It is the Abraham Lincoln, Pinkerton's ship. She's overjoyed. She calls the Suzuki. She tells her to strip every flower from the garden so that the entire inside of the house can be covered with blossoms, and that when Pinkerton gets there, everything in the house will breathe the fragrance of springtime. The duet they sing has come to be known as the Flower Duet. We'll hear again Raquel Gonzalez as Madama Butterfly and Daryl Friedman as Suzuki. Butterfly waits all night, looking for that vision she described in Un bel dì, that lone figure climbing up the hill. But Pinkerton doesn't come. At daybreak, exhausted, she goes to bed with the child. And only then does Pinkerton come. And he's not alone. He's brought the consul Sharpless, and he's brought his new American wife. And they haven't come for Butterfly. They've come to take the child. This sets up the tragic end of the story, where Butterfly, left without even her son as comfort, will turn to the inscription on the sword her father left her, which says, "He who cannot live with honor must die with honor." But when Pinkerton gets into the house and he sees his portrait and he sees the flowers everywhere and he sees how everything has been kept perfect, waiting for his arrival, he finally understands, far too late, what he's done. And he sings the final aria of the show. For him, it's called Addio fiorito asil, good farewell to this flowered refuge. Before we hear the trio and that final aria, which will close our program today, I want to remind you that Madame Butterfly opens next Saturday night in the Opera House. There's a run of 13 performances, including one on the 19th of May, which features these young artist performers. And now, please welcome again Hunter Enoch, baritone, as Sharpless, Chasmin Williams-Ali as Pinkerton, Daryl Friedman as Suzuki, and at the piano is Michael Sherman.
Che sia
lasciate star.
Era stanca sì tanto, vi stette ad aspettare tutta la notte col vivo.
Come sapea?
Non giunge da 3 anni una nave nel porto che da lunge poter fly. Non mi scruti color la bandiera.
E non ti sì.
La chiamo.
No, non ancor.
Lo vedete? Ier sera alla stanza volle spargere i fiori.
E non ti sì.
Che pena.
Chi ce l'ha fuori nel giardino? Una donna.
Zitta.
E dirgli ogni cosa.
Che?
Viene tutta con me.
E sua moglie.
Anime sante di uovi, alla piccina si è spento il sol, si è spento il sol.
Scegliemmo quest'ora mattutina per ritrovarti sola, Suzuki, e alla gran prova un aiuto, un sostegno cercar con te.
Che giova, che giova.
Io so che alle sue pene non ci sono conforti, ma del bimbo conviene assicurarle i sorti.
La fragranza di questi fiori.
Non sa mattina viva del
Triste, volete che chieda una madre.
Alla Sofia, alla quella
Trista
via
che chieda una
conduci la
madre. Oh, mi
via, sappi la
trista.
veda poter
Oh, mi trista.
non sai se io sia corta del re.
Non posso rimanere.
È trista.
Sharpless, v'aspetto per via.
Non ve l'avevo detto.
Datele voi qualche soccorso. Mi struggo da rimorso. Mi struggo da rimorso.
E lo dissi vi ricorda quando la man vi diede. Paratela vi crede e fui profeta allor. Sorda i consigli, sorda i dubbi figli pesa, e l'ostinato attesa raccolse.
Sì, con te in un istante io vedo il fallo mio e sento che di questo tormento tregua mai non avrò, mai non avrò, no!
Andate, il triste vero da sola prenderà.
Strazio atroce vedrò.
Or quel cor sincero presorgo già,
Io fiori
quel fissi ti ricorda e poi profeta allor.
tuo squallor, non retto al tuo squallor. Fuggo, son vil.